I finally have a chance to take a look at one of these Eren knockoffs, but is this one any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at CZ Factory Revoltech Attack on Titan Eren knockoff. A big thank you to the guys from DC Marvel Toy Store on AliExpress for sending it for a review. If you want to get this figure, you can do so over my link in the video description. Now, if you are a follower of my channel and you watched my news videos, then you know that we have 4 different KO companies making their version of this Eren KO. First, there was New Factory, after that there was Joker Factory, and it was reported that both of those are really bad. Then we found out that AC Factory is also making their copy, but that one will come out later after they release their Ryu Hayabusa. And finally we found out about this CZ Factory version, and it was reported that this one is not so bad. In fact, anyone who ordered Eren from DC Marvel Toy Store will get this CZ version, even though initial listing said that it's the New Factory version. The New Factory was so bad that the store cancelled those figures and went with better ones, which are these. I know, I talked too much even before opening the box, but I felt like all of this needed to be said. And now finally taking a look at the packaging, it's a copy of your standard Revoltech box with an image of the figure, Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi logo, and Attack Titan text down here. This is how the side of the box looks. Here is the back with all of these nice promo shots and included accessories. Here is the other side with few close-up shots of Eren, nothing special on the top and nothing on the bottom. So now, let's open it up and let's take a look at the figure. Here is CZ Factory Eren knockoff out of the box, and the figure overall looks good. The sculpt looks nice, and so does the shading. It certainly looks better than what we saw on those in-hand photos of New Factory and the Joker Factory versions. But while all that is true, this CZ version still has some issues, and it could use a little bit of customization in order to fix those so that you end up with a nice Eren knockoff. First of all, you can see that the skin tone of the face does not match the skin tone of the rest of the body. But that's not the main issue here. This default faceplate is easily popping out of this hairpiece every time you slightly move the head. I don't think that it should be glued to it, because this guy does come with that bonus alternate faceplate, and these hairpieces should be options for both of these faces. But in case this is something that bothers you, and believe me, it is annoying, you should maybe consider gluing this to the hair. This way you will sacrifice your 2 hair variations, but at least you won't be frustrated with face falling off all the time. Second issue that I have here are his butterfly joints. They are kind of stiff on this copy, and that can probably be fixed by applying few drops of oil on the joint inside the torso. So you will need to pull apart the upper torso, remove the arms, remove these pieces as well, in order to be able to do that. Then there is an issue with this arm popping out of the socket, and that is because, again, the butterfly joint is tight. So when you try to move it, the arm could easily pop out of the socket, like this. So this guy definitely needs a little bit of customization in order to make it a decent knockoff. And there is finally another thing, another issue that I have here, and that is the knees tending to separate if you are not careful when you bend them. And it's like that on both legs. This is something that we saw before on some previous Revoltech knockoffs, but it's not a big deal. You can always just put them back on. All in all, I would recommend that you heat up the figure with a hairdryer for a couple of seconds before you start messing around with the joints. As I said, all of these are smaller issues that can be fixed if you have some time and patience to do it. This Eren knockoff is around 16 centimeters tall, and I feel like that's fine. It's in line with most other Revoltech figures. Unfortunately, I don't have the original, so I don't know if this copy is the same size or if it's smaller. But if you do have the original, please let me know if it's the same size as this copy. Taking a closer look at the details, here is how the head looks. And as you can see, this is not that bad. If you ignore the difference in the skin tone, the sculpt looks pretty good. The teeth and eyes look fine for the most part. The hair is also nicely done, but again, the faceplate tends to come off really easy. But I like this darker skin tone for the rest of the body. The shading is really nicely done. Of course, it's not as nice as on the original, but it still looks pretty good, especially for a knockoff. All the muscles are nicely sculpted, especially here on the torso, and then here are his arms, and the only parts that are not shaded are obviously these Revoltech joints. face, but that was to be expected. Here is a closer look at his fisted hands that are painted metallic silver, and that looks good. Here is the back of the figure, and finally the back of the legs, and then here is how they look from the front, and finally his feet with toes, and all of this looks pretty good. As I said, in terms of aesthetics, this figure looks good. It is just a matter of question if you can fix those small issues that I pointed out. Let's now take a look at his articulation. The head can rotate and look side to side, and then together with the neck, which is really stiff, I forgot to mention that earlier, but together with the neck, this guy has a nice side to side tilt. This is how far he can look down and up. We have those already mentioned tight butterfly joints that move forwards and back, and so here is how far the arms go across the chest, and here is how far they move across his back. Arms rotate 360, and they have that standard Revoltech double ball joint, but these joints are really tight, really stiff, so be careful with them. Arms move out all the way. We have a bicep swivel, another swivel in the elbows, double jointed elbows that bend this far, then we have a swivel in the wrists and a hinge in all directions. Then we have two cuts in the torso, where we get a nice range of movement, rotation, tilt side to side. This is how far he can bend forward and back. Legs move out all the way. This is how far they move forwards and back. Then we have a thigh swivel, knees that bend in all the way, a boot cut, a swivel in the ankles, feet move forward, back, we have a toe joint, and a great ankle pivot. So all in all, I would say that this figure would be decent if it wasn't for stiff joints in the butterflies, and if it wasn't for this faceplate that is falling off all the time. So let's now take a look at his accessories. First, he comes with a flight stand that you need to put together, and then he comes with few pairs of hands. We have a pair of fisted silver hands that are already on the figure, then we have a pair of plain human fists, a pair of relaxed hands, and a pair of gripping hands. And finally, he also comes with this alternate screaming head, which was, if I'm not mistaken, some kind of a bonus with the original figure. At least we are getting this. This is one great thing about this CZKO, that they included this head. With me having so much frustration with this faceplate falling off all the time, I now really want to check if this faceplate will be at least a bit better. So we remove this and we attach this one if it wants to stay. So here is how that yelling alternate face looks on the body, and while I like the look, this faceplate has another issue. It doesn't want to connect to the back piece of the hair, so it falls off all the time. Faceplate is fine, it stays connected to this hairpiece, but this part here doesn't want to stay for some reason. Maybe if we switch this hair with this one from the first faceplate, maybe that will be better. If this alternate face wants to connect here, it does. Okay, this looks like a better option. So yeah, at least we can do this. There you go. Switching out the hands is no issue at all, so at least we have that, and this is the wrist peg, and alternate hands do pop off easily. Okay, messing around with the figure, I just did this. The whole neck joint came off, and this separated inside, so this is one way to get to the interior of the torso. If you want to put a little bit of oil in there, this is how that looks. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. Here's how he scales with AC Factory Ultron and Mass Toys Symbiote Spidey, City Toys knockoff of Revoltech Agent Venom, and Max knockoff of 2.0 Deadpool, City Toys knockoff of Brown Suit Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man, Bayfax Classic Suit Spidey and Daredevil, SH Figuarts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker, Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man and X-Men 97 Wolverine, Black Series Vader and Stormtrooper, and then to compare him to some larger figures, here is how he scales with NECA Movie TMNT Raphael and Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man, NECA Feral Predator and Savage Crucible Veteris Repax, and finally YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series, Optimus and Starscream. So there you go, that was my look at CZ Factory knockoff of Revoltech Attack on Titan Eren. Overall, if I look at it through lower expectations than what we usually have for CT and AC copies, this guy is, I will say, not that bad. Sure, there are a lot of issues, as you saw, with stiff joints, parts and pieces falling off, but all of these could be fixed if you have time and patience to do it. I think that over the past year we got kind of spoiled, mostly by CT toys, because we got used to getting good bootlegs and knockoffs, but this Eren is what we usually were getting in the past, before City Toys, you know. These are the kind of issues and problems that you expect to have on a cheap knockoff. But in case you see a potential in this KO, maybe as a base body or for some parts and pieces that you want to use for some kind of project that you're working on, then I would say that I do recommend this figure. But I also have to remind you that AC Factory is working on their version, and I'm sure that it will be the best one on the market. So you can get this CZ copy or wait a couple of months more until AC releases their version. There you go. Once again, a big thank you to DC Marvel Toy Store on AliExpress for making this review possible. And in case you do want to get this figure, you can do so over my link in the video description. You've heard my thoughts, and now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about how this figure looks? Do you like how it turned out? Did you think it will be better or worse? Do you plan to get this copy? If you are a customizer and you plan to use this as a base body, let me know what you are working on. I always love to hear your feedback. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.